Hip-hop has an age problem. Well, hip-hop has an everything problem right now, but let's keep the ADHD to a minimum and focus on the one thing at a time. And the thing that's up on the chopping board is hip-hop's age problem. Now you might be wondering, hip-hop has an age problem? What does that even mean? Well, I'm gonna keep the corny YouTube video essay BS to a minimum and explain in the simplest way possible. Hip-hop is still, in the big 2026, getting carried by artists that are en route to a retirement home. This whole genre is supported and sugar daddy by the elderly. If we look at who's running hip-hop, it's essentially artists that should be living out their white picket fence retirement dream. Look, you don't believe me? Drake, 39. Kendrick, 38. J. Cole, 41. Future, 42. Tyler the Creator, 35. Travis Scott, 35. I'm not going to name every single popular high-selling artist, but the majority of them are old. Now, before the unks start doing backflips and floor jump ropes trying to prove their youth to me, when I'm saying old, I'm not talking about strictly age. I'm also talking about the years in the game. You can be 38 and on the come up calling net spend big bro for all I care. You're still fresh blood in the game. Now, that's a bit, 40-year-old freshman type of vibes, but nonetheless, you're part of the new. Oh, and also, that's a whole other side of hip-hop's age problem, where you're low-key ignored and dismissed if you're new, but your knees snap when you're getting up, or you need to put your hands on your knees to support you rising from a chair. What I'm saying is, on the older side. Like, the unks are getting genocided in this space for real, but I'll talk about that later. Back to the original point. Years in the game. The faces of hip-hop, the front runners, are still the same artists that were popping in prehistoric times, the early and mid 2010s. There has been no handing over the baton from the old to the new, or if there has been, it's been minimal. Let's put our nerd glasses on and look into this. First, let's set some ground rules / opinions to showcase this point of view. I think we can all agree that our current hip-hop figureheads are Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole, Travis Scott, Future, Tyler the Creator, Playboi Carti, Nicki Minaj, maybe Uzi, maybe Doja Cat, maybe Eminem, even purely for the numbers he still gets. Oh, and the GOAT NBA Youngboy. Those are the top sellers, most popular, most relevant, most influential artists in the mainstream right now. Let's go one by one. Drake, come up / mainstream appearance, 2009, 2011. Kendrick, come up / mainstream appearance, 2011, 2013. J. Cole, come up / mainstream appearance, 2009, 2012. Travis Scott, 2013, 2016. Future, 2011, 2014. Tyler the Creator, 2010, 2013. Playboi Carti, 2015, 2018. Lil Uzi Vert, 2015, 2017. Nicki Minaj, 2009, 2012. Doja Cat, 2018, 2021. Eminem, 1999, 2002. NBA Youngboy, 2016, 2020. As you can see, most of these artists had their come up or their first step into the mainstream around the early 2010s to mid 2010s. The latest ones are Doja Cat and NBA Youngboy, and if you really think about it, still around a decade ago. Hip-hop has gone into first gear in a 2012 Nissan Altima. We're our rising stars who've taken a seat at the big boy table and actually stayed there. Because I'm Stevie wondering where they are. Cardi, Uzi, Doja Cat, and NBA Youngboy are the most recent ones, but it seems like recent means 8 or 10 years ago. There's only like one new gen artist right now who perhaps is on their way there, Don Toliver, but even then, he's arrived like 1 second later to the show than the other new top dogs. I don't even know if you could call him new gen. That might be a reach and a half. I would have added E, but his new album, and as a result his positioning, and as another result his career trajectory, has taken a Type 7 dump. Also, was going to potentially add Baby Keem to the list, but he's been getting outsold by Youngboy's 50th album, so nah. I'm being for real when I say this, but we might have to start calling on my heart's been broke so many times, I don't know what to believe. Rod Wave's not new by any means, probably has the same career age as Doja Cat, but he's been consistently selling unbelievably well. Even with that though, I still don't think he's capable of being part of the top 1% circle of genre figureheads. So overviewing this, we can safely assume hip-hop's future is in the trenches. It's in the mud. Even when looking at our rising up-and-comers, they just don't have it in them. Central C, Big X The Plug, Glorilla, Easty Kid, Dochi. Come on man. Anyway, that's the age problem of hip-hop. Now, why is this happening? Why has hip-hop vasectomized themselves from younger stars who can be the figureheads of the genre? I have some boiling ideas. Hear me out. Let's get the first no explanation needed reason out of the way. The actual new gen stars died out. Juice WRLD, Pop Smoke, X, maybe even Lil Peep. Those 3, perhaps 4, but let's stick to the main 3, were literally going to be the new top dogs in hip-hop. The statistics back then proved that, and even the statistics now prove that. Massively streamed, great album sales, huge fan bases, radio success, social media popularity, you name it. And look, before you clock onto it, yes, they weren't exactly too recent or new, but hey, slip picking over here. They were young and relatively fresh to the mainstream. They were the chosen ones. If I had to pick 3 dead or alive young artists, again, let's remember, young in age and spirit, no elderly abuse over here, to be the new dominant figures in hip-hop, it would literally be the three that died: X, Juice WRLD, and Pop Smoke. That's the first reason. Moving on to what I believe is the main explanation as to why hip-hop is still getting carried by the old heads and not new heads. The genre fell off as the new and up-and-comers were having their rise. If you're not aware, I had a video about rap/hip-hop dying. Check it out if you haven't. And essentially I, the researcher and genius, declared that rap is declining and has been declining. So tying back to my point, the new up-and-comers couldn't solidify their motion because the genre was falling off. It's kind of like trying to plant a flag and build a wall around it while there's a landslide happening. It's going to be a no bueno. Now, there's no statistics to prove that, but we don't do that nerd stuff around here. Leave that to the scientists and serious YouTubers. We, yes, we, me and you, base our assumptions on feelings. Nah, but there is some proof that rap/hip-hop is declining, and it more or less lines up with the certain artists falling off. It's not only hard to blow up, but it's also hard to stay blowing up. And it's even harder to do both of those whilst the genre is having a downwards trajectory. Like, let's take Polo G for example. An artist that was one of the most popular rap artists at a certain point in the early 2020s. #1 billboards, amazing first week sales for his time in the game, lots of clout, pop crossovers, yet he fell off. Obviously, it's partly due to a long wait in between his albums, but it's also that hip-hop was shifting away from that sound and it was declining. You could say, oh, he got replaced by more popular rising artists like Yeet and Ken Carson, whose sound is a new thing. Then why did Polo G sell more, have more Billboard charting entries? I think it's because hip-hop was more popular back then, had more presence in the music landscape. So that's what I think is the main reason. New popular artists couldn't properly plant their foot into hip-hop because it was declining, and those aren't healthy conditions for new artists to flourish. The next reason is quite literally about age. Hip-hop has put an age limit onto itself, whether we like to admit it or not. If you're over 30 and trying to come into the scene, pack it up, punk, and hit the grill in the mines, because these young kids don't want to be hearing anything from you. They'll clown you for being 31 pushing 50. Low-key, even younger than that. Late 20s is too prehistoric for them. That's the current attitude in hip-hop. The age limit keeps going lower and lower. Like, don't get me wrong, this genre has always been centered about the youth, right? But it's getting a bit corny with that ageism, and no FC when I say this. How the younger you are when you're blowing up, the cooler and better received you are. All I'm saying is, hip-hop is narrowing down its age range too much and it's not ideal. There's a lot of talent to be unlocked with the dinosaurs, but barely anyone's going to acknowledge a 35-year-old coming onto the scene, regardless of the music quality. I don't know if you guys remember, but 5-Year Foreign started getting traction in his late 20s, like 29 or something, and people were clowning on him for that, and also the fact that he was sped. But we're focusing on the age here, not his short yellow bus spelling abilities. So yeah, those are the main reasons in my opinion. I don't have any solutions and quick tips. Mr. Advisor over here is out of advice. I just wanted to touch on this and make a video about it since it's keeping me up at night. Nah, not really. I'll be sleeping like a baby that had a healthy dose of baby formula spiked with melatonin. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Drop a like, subscribe, and stay tuned for what's to come. We're gonna go crazy with this channel. It's a bit of a short one this week, but hey, what can you do? Anyways, catch you guys in the next one. Laters.